June 12, 2011. What was meant to be just another Sunday race in Montreal turned into a full-blown cinematic fever dream. A weather-soaked safety car infested that felt less like a Grand Prix and more like Mario Kart in survival mode. Rain came, chaos followed, cars collided, Marshall slipped, and the clock kept ticking and ticking and ticking. This was one of the wildest, most unpredictable races in F1 history. And by the time it ended, the grid, the fans, and even the commentators were left asking, what the hell did we just witness? However, before we continue, I don't usually like to do this, but those videos take a lot of time and effort. And obviously, I don't upload as regularly as I would like because it's just a hobby for me. However, you can help me evolve that by subscribing, because I'm less than 200 subscribers away from being able to fully monetize my content. For you, it only takes less than the fastest pit stop, and for me, it could mean the world. Before we get into the race, let's start by setting the tone a little bit. The Canadian Grand Prix was the 7th round of the 2011 championship, which was dominated by Sebastian Vettel, who managed to get the W in all but one, and by the time the Canadian Grand Prix was around, he was leading the driver standings by 58 points. Yeah, this man had a 58-point lead to second Lewis Hamilton in just 6 races. So everyone sat calmly in front of their TVs, already bracing for another Red Bull snooze fest. Because much like the 2023 season, the real suspense was about who'd finish second. But then Sunday pulled up with a chair, flipped the script and said, nah, we're doing chaos today. Even before the lights went out, the forecast was setting up red flags, literally and metaphorically. Montreal was soaked, not dump truck, watch for slick, so we're talking biblical, the kind of rain where you wonder if you need full wets or a freaking boat. From lap 1, it was clear that the safety car wasn't just a side character. It led the opening laps like it had pole position, and frankly, it deserved it. The visibility was non-existent, the grip was a myth, and everyone on the track was essentially doing synchronized drifting under a grey Canadian sky. Further back, Lewis Hamilton crashed into Mark Webber, and that resulted into both drivers being dropped back. Same with Jenson Button, who ran wide. Lap 8, Hamilton gets a solid run and sets himself up to overtake Button, and since they're teammates, you'd think nothing would go wrong. Just kidding, they crashed. Button channeled his inner F1 online lobby demon and set Hamilton straight into the shadow realm. And to make things even worse, at the time, Hamilton was second in the championship. Absolute grade A shithousery from Jenson. Safety car happened, Jenson Button got a stop and go penalty for making up time under safety car conditions, and he dropped back to 15th. Eventually FIA said, yep, this is getting a bit too much, and waved the red flag. Not for 5 minutes, not even for half an hour. We're talking 2 hours of watching drivers eat energy bars and try not to pass out from boredom. The pit lane looked like a camping trip, the commentary team ran out of small talk, and fans in the grandstands stood there like they were emotional hostages. The race started with Sebastian Vettel holding the lead against Fernando Alonso, and that's it. Nope. Jenson Button, doing his best Maldonado impression that Sunday, crashes with Fernando Alonso. Alonso is out of the race while Jenson got a puncture and had to pit. Button was literally in the last place, like P281, all the way in the back, barely visible in the spray. And yet somehow this man clawed his way back, passing car after car. He was aggressive, clean, and relentless. Watching Button climb up the order in those treacherous conditions was like watching someone beat Dark Souls blindfolded. However, there is no freaking way Button can catch further, right? Well, when the circuit finally started drying out due to the changing conditions, it was like half the grid forgot how to fucking drive. First was Sotil, then Felipe Massa, and then Heidfeld, who drove over his own fucking front wing, resulting into, guess what, it's another safety car. For the 6th time that day, it's a safety car. And also, yeah, this is one of the marshals falling on the track. Safety car is gone, Vettel comfortably leads again after the restart, and now the fight for the 2nd place is between Michael Schumacher, Mark Webber, and Jenson Button. Now, thanks to a perfect timed pit stop that McLaren pulled off to put on the slicks, Jenson Button was able to overtake both Webber and Schumacher Schumacher thanks to Webber making a mistake in the last turn of the track, overtakes Schumacher using the DRS. Only Sebastian Vettel was ahead, who, despite doing the perfect race, he was only 4 seconds ahead of second place Button because of all the safety car shenanigans. So with only 5 laps remaining, Jenson has to lap almost 1 second faster than Sebastian Vettel, and once he catches Vettel, then it's a completely different story because he will also have to overtake Vettel. Surely, there is no way this is happening.
He's got what it takes to hold him off.
I think Vettel's got Wade.
Yeah,
he's got Wade.
He turned in too late. He got the tyres. Button leads the Grand Prix. Button into the pit straight. He wins a brilliant race. It's a sensational drive.
Sebastian Vettel, doing his best Lando Norris impression, managed to pull off one of the biggest bottle jobs you'll ever see in F1. And just like that, Jenson Button was able to win the fucking race. Like he was the main character of a freaking anime. The madman did it. By the end, the Canadian Grand Prix had run for 4 hours, 4 minutes and 39 seconds. Officially the longest in F1 history, longer than some people's relationships. Fans went through all 5 stages of grief twice, there were 6 safety car deployments, countless pit stops, more incidents than a soap opera season finale. That race will always be remembered, a race where physics, patience and professionalism all slowly eroded under the weight of puddles and unpredictability. You gotta feel bad though for the people who stopped watching the race because of the 2-hour-long red flag. It's like the cave with the diamonds meme, kinda like the people who stayed after the 2-hour red flag and the people who said, okay, fuck this, it's Sunday, I'm going out, bro. I'm not sitting 2.5 hours in front of my TV to watch drivers eating energy bars in the paddock, bro. If you enjoyed this, make sure to subscribe. We are only 187 subscribers away from reaching 1,000. Until next time.